his presentation was maybe 10 minutes. So we had, and then.
And he's off.
And he's gone. He's out.
How are you, Vern?
Oh, you're muted.
Here. I'm fine, thank you. Thanks for setting that stuff out for me. For the Rotary.
Oh, yeah.
Presentation. I'll do that sometime when you don't have a real packed program.
Got it. Yeah, Devin, we'll just have to kind of keep that in mind because he has a bunch of Rotary, you know, the foundation pins.
Gotcha.
So,
I think I've got 5, and then one that's one Paul Harris fellow just joined a Paul Harris fellow. So 6 presentations. I can bust them up and do 2 at a time too.
That might
have
be
to do
good.
them all. I thought maybe on October 8th when Chris Knapp is coming.
Oh, that would be perfect.
I
That
think
would be
good
perfect.
then we can just work it in.
That would be great.
Hi, Thomas.
Hey, Tom, welcome. So Tom is the man in charge of World Affairs, right?
Ah, okay.
So
Hello, Barbara.
how are you today?
Oh, I'm pretty good. I've been sanding my deck. I have a 800 square foot deck, and we made a mistake and put the wrong coating on it a couple of years ago, and it's all peeling. And so I have been got up early this morning and been doing a lot of sanding.
Oh, that's good work, you know. Good that you did it early though, you know.
Well, yeah, it's I don't know if you can see this. Can you
Mm-hmm.
that's the deck before sanding, and this is a progress.
Oh, wow.
So,
You better be careful because we'll hire you.
pardon?
You better be careful. We might hire you to do something.
I'll just tell you where to buy this sander. I was pretty lucky. I went over to Northern Tool and I got an 8.5 inch orbital sander. It is work, but it's sure a lot better than being down on your hands and knees. This thing you can stand up and use almost like a floor polisher.
That's great. Good. Welcome, Jeffrey. How are you?
Thank you. I'm great. How are you?
Doing fine today. It's going to be it's a full day for me today. I'm running this Zoom meeting, and later today I'm doing an our first virtual Tippie College of Business alumni event. So I'm in all my black and gold, you know, all my Iowa stuff. And we're talking about the business of beer. And we have 4 panelists who are all business alums and have all opened breweries. So including the owner of Peachtree Beer, if you know Peachtree from Knoxville. There's a brewery in Pittsburgh, Spoonwood, I think it's called, Spoonwood Brewery, a brewery from Chicagoland, Lions Gate. And then the big one, John Hall, the founder of Goose Island Beer.
Okay.
So kind of a pioneer in the craft beer industry. And so we're doing that today. And as of, you know, a few minutes ago, we have like 626 people participating.
Wow.
So wish me luck on that one.
And you're doing that by Zoom?
We're doing it by Zoom. We probably should have done Zoom webinar, but we're doing just regular Zoom. And but I figured out how to mute cameras and microphones in advance and things like that. So
I was going to say muting is going to be a big deal.
Yeah,
it is. It is. I do. Well, I am really the help, if you will. So I have a faculty member who is one of our entrepreneurial faculty members. He's moderating. And then, so Devin, you're sharing your screen.
How does that look?
Well, I see it.
Okay.
There.
Is there a lot of extra stuff, or can you just see the slide itself?
I see a bit of the extra stuff. So if you are, yeah, you might need to go into slideshow, possibly.
There we go.
Bingo. Now it's this with
Good
like
job.
kind of a black border.
Perfect.
Yep, that works.
Excellent. All right. Thank you.
Hi, everybody.
Gary Pasha says the link is not working. Okay. All right.
Well, I just whipped right in, and believe me, I don't really know what I'm doing, so I thought it worked really great.
Yeah, I didn't have any problems with the link either.
I didn't either.
I
Hey,
think,
Jeffrey.
I was on the east side of town over there, and the internet was out there. But Gary don't live there anymore, does he?
No, he lives at Oak Knoll, and Oak Knoll got on a generator on Monday, so.
Yeah, good.
Okay.
I just sent him an email. He might have gone to the old link. That's a possibility.
Right.
Jeffrey, how are you doing? I haven't seen you in a while.
I'm doing just fine, thank you, Tom.
Okay, so if we could have people, we are recording, you could go into the chat box and enter your name and let us know who you are, and that will count for your attendance.
Let me get the video on.
I'm gonna put you on a new one.
You know, today's meeting was one of those questions. How many people will have power? How many people will have internet? So I think right now, so far, so good.
Hi, Linda.
Hi, Tom.
Good to see you.
So John Culshaw must be in the office because I think he's one of those University Heights people who doesn't have power still. Is that correct, John?
University Heights.
Have you had any snippets of power, John, or has it just been out since Monday?
Oh, the trees are still on the line that are still down in the backyard. So,
Yeah.
yeah, not good.
Summit Street is still a disaster, closed to traffic.
Mm.
And we have a tree in our house.
Oh,
Oh,
in
no.
your house. That's not ideal.
In the
Our
attic.
lifeline works.
Didn't just come tree limb straight through the attic?
It came from the neighbor's house and just pierced between the eaves and the roof. And so we hope that we don't get any additional residents like raccoons and squirrels.
Nobody
think
wants
so,
farming.
Because I have a tree service, but they need to find a crane, so.
Oh, wow.
So all the Wisconsin people, you don't know what you're missing out on down here.
Yeah.
So, and it was they call it a derecho, which from my understanding is a term coined by a University of Iowa professor that has to do with winds of 100 miles per hour or something like that. So, but inland compared to a hurricane, which comes in off of the water. Just came in special just for us. Right? Well, welcome everybody. Go ahead, Devin.
Oh yeah, I was about to do the same thing that Barb was about to do, which is welcome everybody. And if you're joining us just now, if you could sign in the chat, that will help with us knowing whether you're a guest or a visitor or one of our club members. But yeah, good to see y'all.
Hello, everyone. I'm Peggy Dolson from Liberty. I just want you to know that I will have to scoot out at about 20 to 1 because I have a volleyball practice that had to be rearranged because of the storm and no electricity in our gyms.
Oh my.
Hello, Ananya.
Hi.
That's one of our World Affairs students, so I wanted to give her a special welcome before we welcome them officially.
Hey, Greg's.
Hi, Devin. Hi, Barbara. Hi, everyone.
Hi, Greg.
How are you?
Doing well.
It's good to see everybody here. I hope everyone has survived the derecho that hit our communities and that your homes are relatively safe, that maybe you have power and internet or somehow you have found a way to join us. So thank you.
Devin, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Now I gotta find out how to mute this thing.
I can do that for you, which I will do.
Okay. Well, and I'll just sit back and listen.
There you go. Good to see you. Well, hear you, I should say.
Thank you. Good to hear you.
Hi, Bill.
Hi, Barbara.
Hey, Barb, this is Patty McCarthy on the phone number from 356-5249.
Yep. How are you?
Thank you.
Good to see. Good to hear.
It's great to talk with you. I can't wait to have electricity back.
Oh, my. I think we should, maybe we should ask people when you sign in to the chat, you could give us your status update, like power, no power, internet, no internet, shower, no shower. Like, hopefully you have a shower, right? So.
Yeah, thank God for city water.
Hey, Kaylee. Glad to see you.
All right. Well, it looks like we have plenty of people kind of coming in. We'll start in about a minute. But please make sure that you go into the chat and sign your name. You know, even our guests, please write your name in there. So, oh, I see that Carla reports no electricity, no water, no internet, but she is hopeful. So.
Impressively, she is here somehow as well.
Hi, Barb. Can you hear me, Barb?
I can hear you, Bernie.
Okay. No power, no internet. I'm at the pharmacy on my cell phone.
Okay, boy, talk about dedication. This is awesome. Hey, Mark Priest mowed his lawn. That's great. He can come on over to my house. I could use that, you know. Excellent. Well, as people come in, just remember to mute your microphone if you can, and please sign into the chat. We hope everybody is safe and well and has survived the derecho that hit our community. But as we normally do, we are going to start our meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. So if you're able to join us, please do so. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, Excellent. Welcome everybody to the Iowa City Noon Rotary meeting. My name is Barb Thomas and I am your president for this year. I was going to say I'm your virtual president because who knows if I'm really there, right? You know, but I hope that everybody has survived this interesting week that we have had safely. I know it's been quite a challenge and I certainly appreciate everybody who has gone above and beyond the call of duty to attend this meeting by being on your cell phone. However you have found your way to get to us, we really appreciate the effort. If there is anything that we can do to help you, I want to encourage you to reach out to us because we have plenty of people in our club that if you need somebody to come over and, you know, help with some lawn debris, etc., you know, just ask because we can probably try to find somebody to come and help you. So I want to kind of put that out to you all. So as we get going, I'm going to turn this over to Devin, who's going to give us a few Zoom tips. All right, Devin?
Yep, thanks, President Barb. couple of things. I'm betting most of us are Zoom experts by now, but just as a reminder, or if this is an early time, in the top right corner, if you're on your computer or through a menu, probably if you're on some other kind of device, there is a speaker view option and then a gallery view option as well. Speaker view lets you see the person who's speaking nice and large. Gallery option lets you see a grid of all the people on the call. For this part of the meeting, I recommend the gallery view because you can see all the smiling faces and see how people are reacting to different things. And then when it comes to the presentations, then I recommend the speaker view. But then you can kind of page through the top and see what other people are thinking about the speaker too. The other part of interacting with people, and it's not just being a webinar, is the group chat. So get in there, sign in if you can, and then if you have any comments or questions to ask throughout it, we can watch that. And then when we get, if there are questions or if you have a Rotary related announcement, you can go into the participants tab and click raise hand there. You can also just scroll through and see what other lovely people are on the call. And that's it. Glad to see y'all. Back to you, President Farkas.
Great, thank you, Devin. So just a reminder, we're probably trying to keep some of you muted just so that we don't have a lot of extra noise kind of going on in our meeting. And so next, what we'd like to do is introductions. So as Devin mentioned, go into the participants button, and you may find that along the bottom if you are on a computer. So click the participants button and you should see the ability to raise your hand. So if you'd like to, please raise your hand, and then Devin will call on you for an introduction. I'll turn it back over to you, Devin.
Thanks. Linda Farkas, you've got the first hand up.
I'm guessing, is this for introduction to guests or what?
Yep.
Okay, good. I have 3 guests. Then I will introduce the 4th guest when he speaks. First of all, I have Peggy Dolson, who is and Peggy, if you'd like to come on and wave at us. She is the counselor at North Liberty. She is a very key member of our team for youth leadership. So Peggy, if you'd like to say hello to everybody. Peggy?
Yes, here I am.
Okay, thank you, Peggy.
Yeah.
And the next person I have, who's a fellow Rotarian, but also we are very privileged today. We have 2 board of directors from World Affairs Seminar. Jeff Reed. Jeff has joined us today to listen in to our students. So Jeff, could you please come on and say hi?
So Jeff is.
Jeff, okay.
Thank you very much. I'm glad to be here today and hear what your students have to say.
All
Thank
right.
you.
And my last person is Rob Bassett. He's also on the board of directors. And I'm just thrilled that we got 2 board of directors to come and listen to our students today. So Rob, would you like to come in and say hi?
Good morning, everyone. I'm glad to see that everybody's safe, and at least everybody that's here is safe. And it's nice to be here.
All right, thanks, Linda. Joe Barry, you're the next hand that I see up.
Hello, everyone. Joe Barry here. I'm proud to introduce my guest today, my son, Jordan Barry, who just returned from a Rotary Youth Exchange for the past year, and I think he's going to be able to tell you all a little bit about that in a little bit.
Hello. Great, thanks. Sarah Richardson, you got your next hand up.
Hi, I just want to introduce the 2 students that I have from City High because we haven't known who was able to come with power until the last moment. So we have Kaylee Stanier and Ananya Albrecht Bueller, and I'm saying this for everyone, and they'll be introduced later, but it's also for Linda, who's setting up who talks when. So Linda, we have 2 City High students. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Sarah.
Cool. Thanks, Sarah. To Shaylin Harrington, you've got your hand up next.
Shaylin from Shelter House. I'm the Community Engagement Manager. I'm Barb, as always.
Great, welcome. Mary Ellen Lewis, you've got your hand up next.
Well, I was going to introduce Jordan Barry as my guest, but I see that Joe, his father, claimed him, and I get no credit. But,
Sorry about that, Mary Ellen.
That's okay. I'm going to introduce Jordan very briefly when it becomes his time and our time to talk about Rotary Youth Exchange.
Sounds great. Thanks, Mary Ellen. Ryan Bell.
Hey everybody, I am tuning in from lovely southeast South Dakota at my parents' lake house, and my guests are a bunch of dogs and swimming kids. So they're actually excited to learn more about world affairs here once we get into the program.
Cool. Thanks, Ryan. Peggy Dolson, you have your hand up.
Yeah, I could introduce the Liberty students. We have 4 here. We have Luis Garcia, Emma Dreyer, Alana Just, and Lauren DeYoung.
Welcome, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. And those are all the hands that I see. I know that we've got Gary Wickland here as a visitor from the Vail Rotary Club. Any other visiting Rotarians? Say hi. All right.
Hello.
Oh.
There's Benny.
Hey,
And I
Benny.
believe we also have Phil Peterson. Phil, are you here?
I am here. I'm from the Iowa City AM Club, and we are back to normal at our household. And we did go up to visit, or actually to help some friends in Cedar Rapids. And oh my God, if you haven't been to Cedar Rapids, they really got hit hard. And still 5 or 6 semis laid down along the interstate. So.
Well, good to see you, Phil. And those are all the hands that I see. That's our visiting Rotarians. Back to you, President Barb.
Wonderful. Thank you, Devin. Welcome, everyone. And we are glad that you can join us here at the Iowa City Noon Rotary. So next, we're going to go into announcements. So again, we're going to use that same Zoom tool, and we're going to ask that you raise your hand if you have any announcements. And then if so, Devin will call on you. I'm not sure if we will have any or not today.
I am not seeing any hands raised right now.
Okay, well, I'm going to take this little opportunity to remind everybody that we are still part of the food fight, if you will, and that is a drive to raise canned good items and funds for community, which is the former shelter house. And this is a competition. Typically it's only held in the month of July, but they've extended it to July and August because of the special year that we're living in right now. But this is a competition between the area Rotary clubs. And so it all goes to a great cause. It helps the food insecure. But if you would like to help our cause, we'll make sure that we include some information in our email today that gives you, a link so that if you would like to support the cause, please do so. Just make sure that your contribution is marked for the Iowa City Noon Rotary. If we are successful, we will win what's called the Golden Turkey. And Lord knows, that's something that we need to have on display. So hopefully you can join the effort and help us to do that. Now, I do see that Gary has raised his hand. Gary, do you have an update for us on the food fight?
Get myself unmuted here. Yes, I do, President Barb. And as of just the last 10 minutes, there are only postings for our club and the AM club. And Coralville North Corridor and the Iowa City Downtown Club have zeros, which leads me to believe it's possible they're just waiting until later to post a big amount. I'm not sure, I'm only guessing, but right now AM is leading with $4,508 donated, and our club has right now posted $2,864. So we have some work to do be successful in this food fight. And I know I sent a $100 check in, and Nancy sent in one for her club, and that just canceled mine out, I guess. So I need help, people. Back to you, Barb.
Great, thank you, Gary. You hear that? Gary's asking for help, and you know what that means. That means we all have to step up and do our part and support community in the food fight. So I do want to make sure that, because we do have a lot of visitors today, I want to make sure that everybody does go into the chat and sign your name. If you're the guest of somebody, please put that. That will help our note takers today to kind of keep track of everyone who is coming. So lastly, before we move on, I want to talk to you about next week. So what is this? What is this bright pink thing? Well, this is a big ribbon. And next week, we are going to have a ribbon cutting, okay? So the Iowa City Noon Rotary Club has joined the Iowa City Partnership, and new members of the partnership are always able to participate in a ribbon cutting. But how do you do a ribbon cutting when you're meeting by Zoom? Well, you do it virtually, right? And that means that everybody, I want everyone next week to get a ribbon. It doesn't have to be pink. It can be any color you want. It could be yarn. It could be string. I want you to bring some type of ribbon. I want you to bring your scissors. And then when the partnership does that, we'll have a few comments. But then we're all going to join together, and we're all together going to cut a ribbon. And we're going to all pose for a picture with our ribbons. So write it down, make sure you do it, bring your ribbon next week. Great. So, and with that, we're going to move on, and we're going to hear from Mary Ellen Lewis. Now, Mary Ellen is going to introduce one of our guests today who just participated in a youth exchange program. Mary Ellen, I'll turn that over to you.
Thank you, Barb. President Barb, I should say. It's my honor to reintroduce Jordan Berry, who our club sponsored last year when he attended an academic year in lovely Switzerland. Not only did our club sponsor Jordan, but as you may remember, we hosted Anna from Germany. The Rotary Youth Exchange, I believe, is taking this next year off because of the COVID situation that we're in. But I'm excited to hear about Jordan's year in Switzerland. It sounded like he had the most wonderful time ever. So with all that, I'm pleased to introduce Jordan Berry. Also, I should say, Jordan is the son of our fellow Rotarian, Joe, and his mom is Chrissy Berry. So welcome, Jordan.
Hello, I'm Jordan Berry. I was an exchange student in Bern, Switzerland last year, going into this year. And I moved to Switzerland on August 5th, 2019. And I just wanted to say to the whole club and to Rotary in general, thank you for sponsoring me. It was really an unforgettable year, and yeah, I learned so much, so thank you. I know I don't have that much time, so I'm going to try and keep it in some major points about the exchange. The first point I want to recognize is the experience part of the exchange. It's definitely an experience that changed my life. Each exchange student has to kind of go at it a little bit differently, and each of them will go out of their comfort zone, and that's a big part of the exchange, is getting out of your comfort zone in a new culture and learning about your new culture and saying yes to more things. So that's a big part of the exchange. And I found a big part of the experience is also when the foreign culture becomes familiar, you've realized that you've really integrated yourself, and that is a big experience step that probably each exchange student goes through, is when the foreign culture becomes familiar to you, becomes like a home culture. The second point I want to recognize is the culture itself. I stayed with 3 different host families, and each family is different. So there's a different family culture that you have to be flexible with and get into as well. My first 2 host families were in the same neighborhood, so it was relatively easy for me to switch from my first to my second, but my third was in a different neighborhood on the other side of Bern, the city that I lived in, so it was a little bit different, but it's just, it's just a different experience. You have to get into it, you have to be flexible, you have to work with your family and learn about their lives and stuff like that. Swiss culture was definitely a big part to get integrated into, and I think Swiss culture is definitely not that big of a, like there's not a big difference between American culture and Swiss culture. But it was definitely cool to look at American culture from a Swiss perspective. And just in general, I think it's really cool for an exchange student to kind of look back at his own culture from the culture that he has recently moved into.
Okay.
Another big point is definitely language. I moved to Switzerland without any German language experience, and I was fortunate enough to go to a 3-week German intensive with about 15 other exchange students, and that was really good because I got to meet a lot of other exchange students in Bern, and I got to, you know, get myself into this new language that I was going to learn for the whole year, and it was really cool to see how the language works. And you really have to try at it because, you know, I mean, in Switzerland, it's a little bit easier because you always have the option to speak English. But with me, I feel like I really tried to learn language as much as I can and tried as little as I could to speak English so that I could learn the language. And for each exchange student, that's a different journey, but it's definitely a big part of an exchange year in general. And then the last one I have is Rotary. Rotary is, well, the Rotary International program is a really great program, and I think Rotary Youth Exchange in general is a really good thing that you sponsor thousands and thousands of kids around the world to go on amazing experiences for a year that changes their life. And with me, I had different excursions with Rotary during the year with my Rotary club. For example, I went with a hike with my Rotary club once in the Alps, really, really beautiful hike. And also I got to help a farmer, a Swiss farmer. He's actually a guy that made Swiss cheese in the Alps. We got to go to his farm and help him clear his land for his cattle to graze, and just incredible views and really great experience to be there. And also, the last thing was Rotary weekends. I got to meet a lot of different exchange students at Rotary weekends that happen throughout the year, and with various exchange students from all over the world. That's really cool to see that Rotary sponsors, you know, exchanges for kids around the world in every continent, basically. And that was a big part of the exchange, as well as that meeting other exchange students and interacting with different cultures. It's just, you have to be open. And I just wanted to say, again, I can't say it enough, actually, how thankful I am that for Rotary and for this exchange year. I won't forget it. So thank you all so much for this opportunity to speak and for the exchange year.
Wonderful. Thank you, Jordan. That's great. I'm so glad that you had a great experience. It really can be life-changing, and it's wonderful to think that our Rotary Club is able to have this type of impact on youth in our area. So before we go on to the rest of the program, I do want to remind you that for some of you, I know that maybe you don't have power and you don't have internet and you've used your phone to connect to the meeting. I want to make sure that you go out and you look for the mute button on your phone. Sometimes we're able to mute people, but sometimes when they're on the phone, it's a little hard for us to do so. So I'd appreciate it if you can look on your phone for a mute button. I believe it's typically in the lower left. So if you can do that, we will move on. So with this COVID year that we have been experiencing, our past president, Jim Connard, established a new tradition for our club called the Rotary Moment of Gratitude and Positivity. And I think that it is no better person to talk about how grateful she is, because we're going to devote this program to a really great cause that she's heavily involved in. So I'm going to turn it over to Linda Farkas. Linda's going to give us her moment of gratitude and positivity, and then she's going to take us right into the program. So Linda?
Thank you, President Barb. I am going to take my moment and make it short because the most important people to hear from today are our fabulous students. So I'm gonna, when she wants me to do a minute, I might do 30 seconds. This year, as you all know, our club generously donates and contributes to 14 RILA students and 18 World Affairs students, of which RILA did not occur this year, so none of those students got to go. Our World Affairs, obviously, that didn't happen, but our wonderful friends up in Wisconsin sort of reconfigured it and allowed students to go to World Affairs virtually. In my wisdom, I said to Tom Plattenberg, and I'll introduce him in a minute, we won't have any students to go. We had 8, of which we have 6 here today. So I'm gonna keep moving fast so they all get a chance to talk. What I wanna do now is to really emphasize quickly, and Devin, can you put the first slide up, please? Of how this happens, the big infrastructure that this happens. And Devin is gonna show us first the thank you to our sponsors. All of these people on the screens, they contributed to World Affairs this year. And if it hadn't been for them, we would have not been able to send all of the students we have sent. And I will tell you, for RILA and World Affairs, our club just blows everybody away on how many we send. So I want to thank you for that. And the next slide, Devin. The next slide is the committee. I know it probably sounds like it's easy to just, pull this off. We need a whole partnership. And I think the important thing to look at in these slides are the people who are so critical, because if it wasn't for them, it wouldn't happen. It wouldn't happen. And I've missed people on these slides. The AM Club is a critical partner with us. And the Downtown Club is becoming a critical partner. And our fabulous people at World Affairs and RILA are critical partners. And because of all this last week and COVID and stuff, President Barb and Devin have been very key on all of this. So that's my moment, and I want you all to know how lucky we are to have all the people surrounding us that are part of this. And with that, I'm going to introduce our speaker, because I really want to get to the important part of this meeting, not that everybody else wasn't important. Tom Plattenberg has been a Rotarian since 1990. He's a retired Navy captain with 38 years of combined active and reserve service. He's over 40 years in leadership positions in healthcare, including community relations, medical staff, management, planning, and CEO of 4 hospital foundations. In 2008, he joined his wife for a nonprofit consulting firm, Simmons Plattenberg, and the same year, he started to work as the executive director at World Affairs. And Tom, I will turn this over to you.
Well, thank you, Linda, and thank you, fellow Rotarians, for having me. I had another Iowa experience 10 days ago when I met. It was 5 o'clock in the morning where I was, and I did see the video, and to be real honest, it wasn't really complimentary. So hopefully I'll be a little more articulate talking to you today. I'm going to try to make this as quickly or go through this as quickly as possible, because I really want to hear what the delegates have to say. I know you refer to them as students, but we call them delegates because they represent their family, their city, their community, their school, their Rotary sponsors. And so they carry with them a responsibility not only to learn, but also to share and bring back what they have encountered at World Affairs to their communities. Just a little history. The World Affairs seminar was started in 1976 by Dale Greenwood and Dale Brock. And these are 2 Rotarians. They were professors at University of Wisconsin-Whitewater, they had a vision to bring people together from all over the world, and using the Rotary ethos. And their vision was actually very simple. If we bring people from all over the world, young people from all over the world together, and give them issues to sort out, and have them identify problems, and then build solutions, we feel that when they inherit this world, they will solve problems in a peaceful way. And that may sound a little weird coming from a retired Navy captain. I served on many warships, including battleships with 16-inch guns. And I like to tell the delegates at the beginning of the seminar that I love to blow stuff up. I mean, it's just one of the things that I've done did for 38 years, and it's a heck of a thing to be able to do it. But I don't think blowing each other up is the way to solve the world's problems. I think we should start with diplomacy and start with negotiation, and hopefully never get beyond that. Just find solutions that are peaceful. And what I hear from the people who have attended World Affairs is they make friends all over the world, and they stay in touch with them. I get people who attended World Affairs seminar 30 years ago who are still encountering people that they met during the seminar. One of the things that was really cool about this year's seminar is at the end of the seminar, we had kind of an open mic session, and it was first of all, did any of you attend the open mic session? Did any of you? Okay, so what was really neat is all the relationships that happened over Zoom. You know, I hear people say how ineffective Zoom meetings are. Well, you know, I don't think they're as effective as being there one-on-one and being able to do things in person, but they're sure as heck ahead of whatever's in third place. And I think that we really had a good experience by doing this. The format of the seminar was the same this year as it has been in the past, and that is to have small groups of 10 or 15, between 10 and 15 delegates who are in a small discussion group who share their experience. And then we have lectures. The only thing we weren't able to do this year is field trips, although we did have some virtual opportunities to do things like that. One of the things we may have been able to do a little better is point delegates in the direction of some really good videos and online resources so they could study up in between their interactive sessions. We hope they had a lot of fun with each other. We hope the relationships that they built will be enduring. And I think that when I hear, for example, your Rotary Youth Exchange experience, one of the things that the World Affairs Seminar was built on is the Rotary Youth Exchange, where young people are already in the United States on a youth exchange program, and so they're able to come to the seminar at the end of their youth exchange experience and maybe share who they are and what they are. That said, over the years, we've had a lot of people who actually travel. We have a group that travels from Nepal. For many years, we had a large group of 15, 20 people that would come from Nigeria. Political issues caused them to stop coming, although we did have at least one Nigerian show up at World Affairs this year. In the past couple of years, we've had a lot more delegates from Africa and the African nations. We always get a lot of Europeans. We're lucky when we get some people from the Far East, but we do tend to get those. I think finally, I'd just like to, somebody asked me the last time I gave this presentation about the themes. We use a different theme every year. This year it was World Hunger. Next year it's going to be Urbanology, which is a really complex theme based on the fact that it was selected based on the fact that more people now live in cities than in rural areas in this world. We have over 7 billion people living in the world, and this is the first time in human history that more people have lived in cities than in our rural areas. The reason for a theme is it is literally just a learning platform. The message is always the same. The message is identifying issues and problems, deciding how they're going to be approached, coming up with solutions, and then working with others to make those solutions happen. So with that, I'm really excited to hear from the delegates, but I will take a few questions if you have some.
Tom, I think we're going to have to wait for questions till the end if we have time.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have the students come on and talk, and we usually have to stop right at 1 o'clock. So what I'm going to do is go and have the students start now. Does that sound good? Hopefully we'll get through this and we'll have time for questions, okay? All right, so what I'm going to do now is move on to the students. And what I'm doing, and just so all the Rotarians know, I'm going to call it a student name. The student will introduce themselves and give approximately a 2-minute talk on what their experience was. And so what I'm going to do now is start with Elena. Elena?
All right, hello, my name is Elena. Yes, I'm going to be a senior at Liberty, and of course
Elena, can you speak up a little bit, please? Could you speak up?
I'll be honest, I had a little bit, yeah, is it better?
Yeah, it's better, speak up, yeah.
Okay. Is this better? Can you hear me now?
A little bit, you're cutting out pretty bad, but why don't you just keep talking?
I had difficulty getting internet connect. Okay. Well, I really like attending the speakers. They had a lot of good things to say. I work in a restaurant, and so they talk sustainability specifically in restaurants. I thought that it made me like I should have like something to say within my restaurant and the company, because they didn't practice very safe or clean recycling or trash taking out, I guess. And so I definitely learned a lot about that and like what I can do. And also, I really did enjoy meeting international students. I liked hearing about their stories, and some of them had a little bit of trouble too because they were from all around the world. They had to.
Okay, Anya, you have frozen up, so I'm going to move on to another student, and we can try to get back to you at the end. Is that okay?
That was Elena, not Anya.
I'm sorry, Alana. Okay, I am going to go to Emma. Emma?
Hi, everyone. I'm Emma Dreyer. I'll be a senior at Liberty as well. So for me, World Affairs was like a really good experience for like, especially amidst like a pandemic and everything going on. I was really grateful that we were able to still have something to attend. But yeah, I had a lot of fun sitting in on calls and being able to like choose what I wanted to go do and wanted to learn more about. We did a diplomacy exercise, which I thought was really fun. And in my team, at least, we were able to kind of get this issue that with like between a couple different like imaginary countries, and then we were representing the different countries, and we were able to take that issue and solve it in a peaceful manner, which I thought was just like a really fun exercise to do. And I really also enjoyed having a bunch of people from all over the world get to connect and hang out on Zoom for a while. But yeah, I thought it was a really good experience overall. It was really fun. I'm still connected with some of the delegates through Snapchat, and we talk every once in a while just to kind of see where we're at with life and how everything's going in the world, and to be able to just like connect with somebody that you wouldn't have had the opportunity to do so without this program. Yeah, I'm really thankful.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And our next person I will pick on, I am picking you at random so nobody knows who's next. Callie from City High.
Hi, I'm Callie. I will be a senior at City High School next year. And I had a wonderful time at the World Affairs Seminar. And I wanted to talk about the effect it had on my perspective of the world. It changed the way I viewed my experience in the world, especially with hunger, because I've only experienced my fairly privileged suburban American way of living, and it was really interesting to hear perspectives and experiences from different countries and from different places in the United States. And I really enjoyed being able to continue connecting with delegates from different countries and different states on social media. We don't have I haven't formed any very personal connections, but it's interesting to see their posts regarding things that are going on in their lives and in the places that they're living in. It was also really interesting. There was a speaker who mentioned that hunger is a public policy problem. That was her stance. And that kind of blew my mind thinking about it that way, that hunger, at least in the United States, is a problem that could be solved by choices made in government. And that really changed my perspective on the issue. That was very interesting. Also, it was just really fun. It felt kind of like a summer camp, even though I was only viewing it through my computer screen. Everybody was sharing jokes and things in the chat. And it was really nice to connect with people in a time where I hadn't been able to connect with a lot of people. It was really wonderful.
Thank you so much, Callie. I'm going to move on now to Luis. Luis, could you please come on?
Hi, my name's Luis. I will also be a senior at Liberty. And I just wanted to say that I had a really good time at World Affairs Seminar. It was one of the most fun experiences I've ever had, even if it was through a computer screen. And I just also wanted to make the point again that I did get to meet a lot of new people and to see a lot of new perspectives. And I think the most important thing that I've learned from that experience was that it kind of gives me hope for the future, because knowing and seeing other people give ideas to solve a problem, it shows me that there are people out there who think critically about these issues and who are capable of solving problems that could fix the world in the future. So, just leave it at that.
Okay, thank you. Are you, do you have any other thing, Luis? What countries did you talk to, Luis?
I heard I was talking to people. Some were coming from Great Britain. Some people were coming from Nepal. Lots of unique places. So it was interesting.
Thank you. Lauren, can you join us, please? Thank you, Luis.
Hi, Lauren DeYoung, and I am also a senior at Liberty. So my experience was really fun. Like everybody else said, it was really, like Luis said, it was really interesting seeing people our age thinking critically about world problems. And like you said, it kind of gives me hope for the future. Like I didn't realize that there were so many other people out there that were thinking critically about how to move forward. One of my most experiences, like Emma had mentioned, the diplomacy exercise. My little group, we were pretty much on the same page the whole entire time, and and we kind of did three trio through the rest of the seminar. We all just talked together because we knew that we could bounce ideas off of each other, and those two are probably the closest people that I met in world affairs. I think they're both from Wisconsin, but those two, having those two connections with just like interact with other people too. I think that just there's another speaker competition that I thought was a really unique. So he set up, I forget where it was, but it was like in the hub of a city. And he set this served food from different places that America was in conflict or had conflict with, and it showed that there's still people there, even if America kind of just the nation, but it also shows that there are people in that nation that should also have be protected, and they shouldn't just go attack. And I thought that was pretty cool.
Very good, thank you. I need help. Sarah, who was that first person? Was it Alana? Alana, have you been on yet?
Yeah, so the next person to speak, so Elena just has been on, but Ananya, excuse me, Ananya from City High has not spoken yet. With the similar names, it's a little confusing. So
I know, sorry about that.
So Ananya.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Ananya, and I'm going to be a rising senior at City High. The main takeaway that I took from the seminar was that there are different ways of being a leader. I know coming into it, I had a very stereotypical view of what a leader was. You know, the stereotypical bubbly, extroverted, very preppy person. But I learned throughout the seminar how different each of the speakers were and how they all had a different way of tackling the problem they had set out to fix. Yeah, this was really important to me, especially since I'm really not that stereotypical extroverted leader. And I had been trying to be that one, and I've learned that I can still be a leader without being someone that I'm not. Another main takeaway I have is that I have a lot of hope for the future, just based on what my peers did and said and what they took coming out of the seminar. Everyone there was just so optimistic. They had such thought-provoking questions and such great ideas to the problems that were posed. I think I also made an impact on the delegates because I also have a unique background. Everyone here does. And I think just having more people and learning about new people really helps set a worldwide perspective. Definitely the most fun thing that my group did, besides the diplomacy exercise, was a British and Midwestern vocab quiz, because my counselors in my group, one of them was from England and the other one I think was from Wisconsin, but it was really fun to see just the differences in dialect. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to go in and I'm going to ask, I have a question, and we asked this question to all of you when you were interviewing, and I'm interested in the answer. And I don't care who answers this, or all of you can answer it. If you found yourself in disagreement with somebody, especially people from other countries, how did you handle that? If you just didn't, if you got into very uncomfortable situations where their values, your values are totally different, how did you handle that? And I'll take it from the group, whoever wants to talk. Don't everybody talk at once.
I know that in my group, in one of the discussions we had, there was one of the students that was making quite a racist claim about immigration. And I mean, it's very hard to know what to do in that situation, but I think the rest of the group really handled that very, very well. Everyone was making quite intelligent points. It wasn't name calling. It was more asking this person why they felt the way they did, and then explaining why that was wrong.
Anybody else have thank you, that was excellent, actually. Anybody have another thought on that question?
Yeah, so like how Ananya said, really like to get to like the bottom of like a disagreement, or like to try to like solve a solution or solve a problem that people are facing, it's usually at least at World Affairs I had experienced as well, that the best way to like kind of tackle that is to just sit back and listen and kind of try to understand where the other people are coming from, so you're not like just like full on like saying no, you're wrong, you can't do that, because that they're not fully understand you if you don't understand them. So yeah, that's kind of just my take on that.
Okay. Sarah, do you have any questions for the group before we turn it over to the Rotary Club?
No, I don't think so. I think Ananya's comments about leadership were interesting. I guess, and I loved everyone else's comments, but since this is the Rotary Youth Leadership Committee and project, does anyone else from the group have sort of comments about what your thoughts on leadership, how they were changed by going to the World Affairs Seminar?
I think that with the whole group, there were a lot of strong leaders. Like there were like a few obvious people that were like the leaders of the group. But I feel like what Ananya said was that we are all leaders and we all have different leadership styles. So for me, I definitely was one of the quiet ones. I didn't really speak out. I was more of like a sit back and listen to what everybody else had to say and then process it and take my opinion on it. And I feel like that is one way that I can show leadership, was that I can be more of a quiet person, but I can also bounce ideas off of people and like put my opinion out there as well, even if it's just a one-off chance or like one-off shot, because I do get intimidated pretty easily. But I think with everybody there, it was pretty comfortable situation. So yeah.
Thank you.
Thank
That was
you.
really helpful. Yeah.
So Linda, you actually have a question from Gary Pasha to the student.
Okay, that's perfect. I'm turning it back to you, Barb, if you want to get questions from the Rotary.
Gary, do you want to do your question?
Yes, I'm very interested in any member that has spoken today, considering the investment that us older people make in youth to go to a leadership event like this. I would like to know whether do you talk to your friends? Do you endorse the process? Would you encourage your friends to sign up and apply for this process? I'd be interested in just a brief comment from anybody that would like to take that question.
I would definitely encourage anyone I know who's interested in activism and is more like serious minded into applying for this or interviewing for this or participating in it, because it was just amazing to have all these people together who were interested in the same thing and were very activism minded, and it's just amazing. I don't know how to describe it.
Thank you.
That is wonderful. Well, I think we can all agree that this is an amazing program. It has a tremendous impact on youth in our community, and it has a great committee that is working together, a committee of Rotarians who are together making this happen. So a special thanks, kudos to the committee for all of their hard work to do it. Kudos to the folks from World Affairs for pivoting and being able to kind of take an in-person situation and make it a virtual one. And kudos to the students. We're so thrilled that you were able to participate in this, and we hope that you continue your involvement in Rotary. You're welcome to attend any of our meetings. We're doing them fabulously through Zoom, so we would love to have you back at any point in time. So I do want to try to squeeze in one additional thing today before we leave. And so my apologies that this is coming at the end, but I believe that Shaner is still with us. Shaner, are you here? And Shaner is set to ride the goat. And for those of you that may not know what that means that newer members have 3 minutes and 3 minutes alone to tell the club about themselves. So Shaner, I have a little timer right here. I'm gonna give you a little warning at 1 minute and at 30 seconds and at stop, okay?
All right,
so,
are you ready?
And with that, you can start.
Okay, well, I don't know how I follow that wonderful program and all these amazing students, but I'll give it a try. I guess that's a great example of why I'm so excited to be a new member in Rotary, because I mean, this club just does, and the organization itself just does such amazing work in so many different areas. Those of you that have been around for quite a while may remember possibly that I was a member of this club about 10 years ago for a few months. Terrence Nugel actually brought me in as a member, who some of you probably still remember. This time around, I took the normal path, which seems to be for everybody else, having Vern Folkman bring me in. So Vern is obviously a fantastic Rotarian and you know, really speaks great things about the club. So I'm glad to be a part of it, and I'm looking forward to being able to actually meet in person eventually. I mean, this is amazing, but I'm a real people person. So anyway, Shaner Magalhaes is my name. We will have a whole program dedicated to pronouncing my last name sometime. That'll be kind of the goal for one meeting. Magalhaes is a Brazilian name, so I'm half American, half Brazilian. My dad is from Brazil, so I have a little experience like some of the Rotarian students, having lived in Brazil and such. I am originally from Illinois, but I've been in Iowa City. I consider myself an Iowan now because I came to school here as a freshman, got a couple of degrees. My wife came with me. Well, she wasn't my wife then, but eventually she got tired of just being my girlfriend, so we got married. Her name is Barbara also, and we've been married for a long time now, 25 years, I think, 26 years, I don't know, something like that. We have 3 grown children. We're empty nesters now. Our oldest is taking the really long process of getting his bachelor's degree at Iowa. He's a philosophy major, so maybe he's philosophizing too much. So he's been at Iowa for about 6 years now and is a chef at Vesta in Coralville as well. My daughter, who's younger than him, graduated in not even 4 years from Iowa, and she lives in the Twin Cities now. And then my youngest son will be a senior at Iowa this year and is a geoscience major, and who knows what he's going to do with that. I am a realtor with Skogman Realty. I've been doing this for 10 years now, and do mostly residential, but have some commercial real estate work as well. And other than that, like I said, just really looking forward to, I know a lot of you, but looking forward to meeting even more of you and seeing you in person and rolling my sleeves up and getting involved in the club. Thanks a lot.
Perfect. That was a great job, Shaner. You did it with 7 seconds left. That's pretty awesome. That is great. Well, welcome, Shaner. We're thrilled to have you as a member of our club. And again, I want to make sure that Tom and Jeff, as well as all of the students affiliated with World Affairs, I want to make sure that you know that our club is actually going to do a donation to Rotary International's Polio Plus program in honor of World Affairs. And if you have not heard this before, I want to make sure that you know that every donation to Rotary International's Polio Plus program is actually matched 2-to-1 by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. And what that means is that a $10 donation becomes $30 and helps the cause of eliminating polio. And that $30 will actually provide 70 vaccinations, which is a pretty great impact. And so our club is going to do that in your honor. So I want to thank you again for participating today. I hope everybody remains safe. If there's anything that we can do to help you, or if you hear of any of our fellow Rotarians who are struggling in this storm, if there's anything we can do, please reach out to us and let us know. And so if there is no other business before the club, I encourage you all to unmute your microphones for a bit of cacophony that we call the 4-way test. And so please join me in saying, of all of the things that we think or do, is it fair to approve? Is it fair to welcome all concerned? Will it build better friendships?
Be beneficial to all concerned.
And with that, our meeting is adjourned. Thank you and have a great day.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Glad you were able to make it, Tom. Great program.
Thank you, Barbara.
Barbara, I have a question.
Sure.